What is going on, friends? I'd like to welcome you to another episode of South Bay Sports Radio. I'm here with Adam Dierling. Adam, talk to me about the inspiration behind Flag.
Yeah, so Flag was started with one of my longtime best childhood friends, Christian Sorensen. The impetus, actually, we started holding golf tournaments for my industry. I work in the commercial real estate industry. And one day I was actually riding my bike to Santa Barbara to have a beer at one of my old favorite stomping grounds, Sam's to Go, with a buddy. And I said, hey, why don't we throw a local golf tournament for our industry on a Friday afternoon. At the time was the Marriott. Now it's the West Drift over in Manhattan Beach, just for fun. So we set that up. We had a golf tournament. This was in 2012. We said, hey, while we're doing a golf tournament and creating some fun for our industry peers, why not do something good for our communities? We slapped on the title of a charity event, and we raised about six that year. It was great. We provided those funds to a local charity. Everybody in attendance had a lot of fun, and hence the hack golf tournament was started. So we went through the next, call it 7, 8 years of doing just one-off charities each year. Um, the tournament itself grew via the industry. We have now about 150 to 200 participants, which for a 9-hole par three course really fills out that facility in a great way. Um, Fast forward to 2020, we had been giving to, like I said, one-off charities, majority of them local. We ended up doing a couple nationals, and we did not like the lack of visibility into where our funds were going. We had to run them through the accounting departments of these third-party charities, and although it was giving, our ultimate goal was to affect our local community and provide 100% of the proceeds from our events to charities and to those in need. So our passions are underprivileged youth and veterans and their families here locally. So we established a 501c3, which is FLAG, stands for the Foundation for Learning, Athletics, and Growth. And our mission is to support local. So we give 100% of the proceeds from our events and our fundraisers to beneficiaries here locally, our largest of which is an organization out of Nickerson Gardens in Watts, founded by an LAPD officer, Jeff Joyce. What he has done is remarkable. He provides a educational and sports facilities for the kids of Nickerson Gardens, which is one of the largest projects in government subsidized housing this side of the Mississippi. And that is his local beat, where he's been a police officer for many, many years. He saw the need for kids to have an outlet. So it started with a couple of kids that he said, hey, meet me at the soccer field, and I'll give you an opportunity to play where we don't have to fear for your safety, because we'll monitor you guys playing. That turned into an academic program, after school program as well, where these kids have a safe house. They have computers, snacks, LAPD officers that come and educate them, and they have other educators that show up. And then it turned into a culture where these kids are required to maintain a certain GPA. They're required to have respect, treat others with respect, yearn to learn. And if they do all of that, then they're invited out a couple days a week to the soccer field, which is the driving force because these kids love soccer, and they get to practice. All of this is on Jeff Joyce's private time. He's not paid. And what we have done, Flag has done for Nick's kids, is provided in the beginning 100% of the funding, and we send a number of these kids to private schools in the area. And so, there's been I forget the exact numbers, but over 100 kids that have gone through this program. I'm probably selling that a little short. It's probably much more than that. Every kid that has gone through the Nick's Kids program has graduated high school out of this community, which is a remarkable percentage compared to the kids in that community that aren't part of this program. Majority of the kids go on to college. If not, they go on to trade schools, but they all continue education after Nick's Kids. On a side note, there have been 0 pregnancies by any of the children that have gone through this program within that community. The number falls somewhere between 40 and 60%. So it's just a great guiding light. We latched on early because Officer Joyce needed funding. He wasn't able to do it. It started with one or two kids, and now I think this year there's 46, somewhere in that range. And it's just caught fire within our community. When I say our community, the commercial real estate community, as well as the South Bay community, which is where Christian and I both live. He went to South High. I went to Redondo, and we just haven't been able to get out of the bubble because we love it so much. So we continue growing Nick's Kids. In addition, we support veterans in our community. It's not a robust community of veterans for obvious cost of living type of reasons and that stuff, but we've done a lot of digging to find the programs within the veteran community that we can support. One of them right now we're supporting is actually through LAPD as well, where they go to lunches and they talk about the psychological aspects of being veterans and relatability with each other. We provide funding for those lunches so that these men and women can get together and share stories with like-minded individuals who have experienced the rigors of military service. And the ultimate goal there with that program is just get these veterans to talk, to understand that there's others that are facing the same thought processes and challenges in their life that can be attributed back to their service or whatever. And it's gaining a lot of good traction within that community because having sounding boards sitting across the table from you as you share a meal is just it's relatable for a lot of these groups. So that's the and as a shortened version as possible for a conversation like this, but happy to expand on any of those topics I touched on.
And I appreciate that very much. You guys walked 24 miles from your house in the Torrance area to Dodger Stadium. How much was raised for Flag from this walk?
Yeah, we raised a little over $2,000 on that walk. And that was, there's just 12 individuals. And they all just we cut our own checks. Here, everyone just contributed whatever amount they felt appropriate. In general, we raise somewhere between $120,000 to $140,000 a year in Flag that we give to these programs. This was a real quick, let's start here and see what happens type of event. And it's interesting because we're continuing to get feedback, Nick, from the community saying, hey, I like what you guys did. I didn't know the beneficiaries for Flag. I would like to contribute. So I actually suspect that number will go up here through the next few weeks because we're getting a lot of reach out, thanks in large part to the article you had in the Breeze, which was fantastic. But this is the next phase of Flag is continuing to utilize our real estate community and construction community as the largest donors to date and since inception. And now we're expanding this into our local personal community here in the South Bay, which is a great way for us to scale Flag to the next level.
This group of 12 guys, from what Grady told me, got together through the idea of getting themselves back into fitness. But how has the group evolved over time from guys that maybe didn't know each other as well to taking a marathon like walk to Chavez Ravine?
Yeah, so it started, Grady and I and two or three others actually just started working out maybe 4 years ago with what we call tower workouts. So we go down to the beach at Avenue H, we jump on the soft sand, and we run from tower to tower. We either go north all the way to the pier or we go south to the Palisades Beach Club. And every lifeguard tower, we stop and we do some sort of body weight exercise. So that started with four of us. We've been doing that for years. At the end of that, we jump in the ocean throughout the year. So we've been in the ocean in our board shorts as cold as 53 degrees, but it's kind of the cleansing at the end of the workout and cold water therapy, which we're firm believers on. That led into a couple additional guys within this 12-person group jumping on board, joining us for our workouts. We work out about 5 days a week at 6 a.m. We meet at different places and do different things. And then it turned into Friday walks. So that started mostly within the neighborhood community of guys, dads that we share kids at similar ages and are doing sports together. And so it grew into these 12, and we had every fitness level. So those of us that were doing the 5 days a week workout were at a certain level. We had guys come in who frankly couldn't make the first quarter mile of our walk because we walk at a relatively fast pace. We try to average about 13 minutes and 30-second miles. And so I said that wrong, but 13:30 minute mile pace. So we're doing a little over 4 miles an hour. And that's a pretty fast walk. We don't swivel our hips or move our arms like you see those power walkers, but we try to just keep pushing that pace. And so it was just a commitment by these 12 guys, some that maybe weren't as in good a shape, who stuck with it. And as anything endurance, over time built up to be able to keep that pace with us. And then it was just training on a pyramid scheme similar to what you do on a marathon. And we built up to an 18-mile walk was our largest training walk, and then tapered off as we got closer to the event. And through the event, everyone was rock solid. We didn't have anybody fall off, and we just put our head down. We didn't hit a 13:30 pace, but we were sub 14 minute miles. So it was a great pace for that extended period of time.
Adam, I'm going to be honest. This is going to be its own episode because I feel that if I drop two episodes tomorrow, one about Grady in the article and then one about you in the article, might be better than one whole episode combined. So
Okay.
let's just finish it off. Let's transfer into rapid fire. You're going to get hit with 5 questions, random
Okay.
topics. Your
Yep.
answers are your own. All time favorite MLB players.
Mike Piazza, big fan of Piazza, and Craig Biggio, even though he is not a Dodger.
I do love Biggio. Your least
Yep.
favorite MLB team.
Oh, it's got to be the Giants.
Favorite baseball movie.
Field of Dreams, hands down.
Favorite South Bay musical artist.
Pennywise.
All right. My favorite one, your go to South Bay eatery and the dish you recommend there.
Oh, that's a good one. I'll go probably Flying Finn, and I like their Mega Omega roll.
Awesome. What's on the Mega Omega roll?
It's salmon. You got salmon on the outside, and then I think it's probably some crab in the middle with some sort of, maybe it's finished with a little bit of an eel sauce or something like that on top.
That sounds delicious. Adam, thank you very much for your time. I love learning about South Bay corporations that start based out of one idea that you've had with somebody else from the South Bay.
Yeah, let's keep it local, man. We've got a great community here, so it's fun to give back, and it's meaningful when we see some change here locally, and we'll continue to do it as we continue getting support from all of our different communities. So thanks for reaching out. I appreciate the opportunity to have this chat with you.
Thanks for sticking around. While you're at it, what part of this episode was your favorite? Until our next adventure, see you next time.